Hi, it's Stephen here from Son of a Nation Wave, and this is day 13 of the October Daily Draws. As we start a new week, let's see what message we get. And I'll be taking the first card from the Ghost Tarot, followed by an Oracle card from the Seasons of the Witch, Samhain Oracle. So let's choose our first card and get the reading underway. Okay, here we go. And we have the Two of Swords. We're getting a lot of swords at the moment. This part of, this first half of the month, we're getting a lot of swords. Yesterday we had the Nine of Swords. Before that we had the Eight of Swords. We've had the King of Swords twice. It seems to be sword. It's about the mind. It's about dealing with our thoughts, the way we think, and how what we allow in our thinking and what we challenge in our thinking. Trying to get stability in our thinking. This is an impasse in our decision making, in our and usually she's always near water in this card. She's turned her back to the water. It looks, I don't know if it looks as if there's a wave about to come. Is it a wave about to come, or is that a dark cloud behind her? No, because the sea is pretty flat here. It's not a wave. It looked like a wave, but I think it's more like clouds. So the clouds would represent, and she's like suspended in the air. And that, to me, is very good depiction, actually, of what I always get with this card, because it's like a stalemate. It's like a suspension in our decision-making ability. Something is stopping the process, and it's like everything comes to a halt, and we're holding things. It's a holding thing. We can't make a decision, so that's holding things up. It's like we are suspended. We're in a pause because we can't decide which way to go next. It's that inability to make decisions, to choose the way forward. And that gives us a sense of being suspended almost, because nothing's happening. We can't put our feet down one way or the other. We don't know what to do, and we've got this sea below us here. So it's almost like to me, it always represents the emotions. The emotional thing comes into it. Maybe part of the reason our feelings may be clouding the issue. External situations are affecting us as well. And it could be external situations, could be affecting us emotionally, and thereby inhibiting our ability to know what to do next, and or our ability to choose the next step. Even if we have clear choices, we don't know which way to turn. And with this card, I usually say that can be sustained for a while, but we can't have this suspension there indefinitely. We have to make a decision. The worst action to take or decision to make is no action or no decision at all. We can put it off, put making a decision off for so long, but not forever. We have to come to a decision, or sometimes the decision is then made for us. So while we have the ability to choose ourselves, it's better to make a choice. We're perhaps thinking we're looking for the perfect choice sometimes, but there may not be one. It may be, you may have a couple of options there, and they both got pros and cons attached to them, and that's why it may be difficult. but you have to. But choosing one is the right thing to do, and it may not actually matter in the long run which one you choose, as long as you choose some way to go. Because once you've made a decision and decided to go down a certain pathway, then the universe knows where you're going and can provide what you need on that route. But while you haven't yet decided, the universe can't help us very much because it's waiting for us to know which decision we're going with, which path we're taking. Because the universe perhaps has different things for us depending on what we decide. And it's not going to decide for us because we have free will. But once we make that choice, then everything comes into play. So what this card is saying is it's better to make a choice rather than no choice. Yes, by all means, take a bit of time, sensible time to think things over. Don't make rash decisions, but don't take forever and a day about the process. Particularly if you can't make your mind up. This indecisiveness, and for people that find it difficult to make their mind up and make a choice, like me, I sometimes think, I have times when I get indecisive about, well, that looks good, but what about that? And you go to and fro, and for quite a while, and you don't really choose anything. So your progress, yes, you can look into things, or what does that involve? What is that involved? And on the basis of that, then you make your decision. You're not making it rashly. You're basing it on sensible, looking through the information about each choice. But sometimes the feelings get away. You're frightened to move forward because whatever, as I say, not every, there may not be a perfect step forward, and there may be challenges and risks with any choice that you have to make. And you may be overly cautious or fearful about making a choice because you fear what comes next after that choice. And there comes a time when you have to summon up the courage and perhaps go within. Often with this card, I can't tell if she's got her eyes closed. Let's see, we get into focus because it's a ghostly image. It's a bit unclear. But usually there's a blindfold, or there's the fact that they can't see outwardly. And sometimes that should because sometimes we're looking outwardly at the situation, and we just can't. Nothing outwardly gives us that sense of the right way to go. So maybe we need to go inwardly and think about how we react to which one draws us the most. Just, as I say, not the one that we find the most perfect, but the one that we feel fits more with where we are and who we are, and which one we and then go for that, and just put all your effort into it to make it work. And quite often, once we've made a decision and we put ourselves behind that decision, then whichever decision we make turns out all right in the end. But it's dealing with that almost paralysis of thought and decision making that we need to get past in order to move to the next step. Okay, let's see which oracle card we get to go with that. The owl, again, the wisdom of the owl. The owl represents wisdom to me always. When I see the owl, it's wisdom. And it's having the wisdom to know, the way to go, how to assess it, gaining that inner wisdom that we have. And I think when this came out before, I said about the owl's ability to turn its head almost 360 degrees, completely around. Not, it doesn't do it completely around, but very near to. So it can scope a very large sort of panoramic view of what's going on and get the wider sort of vision of what's involved, and then is able to use the wisdom then to finally decide which pathway to go down. So trust your inner wisdom, trust your instinct, look within, trust that inner voice, and make the decision and trust in it and put your energy into it to make it work. Because sometimes the whether it works out or not is down to what we put into it once we've made a decision. And that, I believe, is the message of the cards today. Okay, so that's today's message. I'll be back tomorrow with day 14. Until then, thank you for listening. Take care, everyone, and I'll see you all again very soon. Okay, bye-bye.